So today we have a very fun little coordinating freebie for our Balloon Festival SVG bundle, which we just released, featuring, of course, many of you have already created this, our beautiful balloon, which you can see here in front of me. It does stand up, but I wouldn't recommend it. It is designed to hang, and I'm gonna make sure that I kind of keep it on its side when I'm not hanging it or just displaying it, because I don't want to ruin it. Also includes, and this is really popular, I've seen a lot of these already, our little candy cart, which I've filled with some of those circus peanuts, and they're not the best. I would probably, next time around, put some popcorn in there. You can also turn it into a popcorn stand, I guess, or a popcorn machine. Never owned one, but they are pretty cool. And then finally, a cute little box card, which folds flat for mailing, should you want to mail it. Just a really cool little summery festive card. And the coordinating freebie is a little tea light. And the cool thing about it is, well, of course, it coordinates with everything. So if you're doing some sort of, carnival themed birthday party or any sort of celebration, these, you could easily whip these up. It's 3 colors. They go together real quick. Put little tea lights in them, scatter them around your little event party area. Great for the 4th of July as well. Anyway, it can go on and on, but at the end of the day, it's a fun project, and this is especially a good one for those of you that are new to Dreaming Tree. Well, it's a quick one. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is we have our vellum here, and I'm going to put my vellum in place. Now, typically what I would do is use, I would use glue to do that, but I've really taken to using score tape for, well, in the last project, I used it for the, I used it to glue the acetate onto the little candy cart because, well, obviously the vellum is translucent where the acetate is transparent. Either way, sometimes glue doesn't look the best on something like that. So by just simply putting some score tape down around these areas, you can absolutely glue it if you want. So you would simply just put glue around that area there for your vellum, but the score tape again is going to come through, and it's not going to come through actually. You're not going to see it. That's the whole idea, is that it's pretty out of the way. Well, right now it's not because it has the backing on it, but you simply want to get your score tape on here, or glue, whichever way you want to do it. And I'll venture to say that you don't even need to, it doesn't even need to be completely seamless or continuous all the way around. So let me just show you what that looks like, and maybe we'll just do one of each. I'll show you the score tape method, and I'll show you the gluing method, just so you can see both. Okay, just got to peel that backing off. And we're doing this first because once we glue this object together, it's going to be really hard to get our vellum in there. Okay, so you can see the score tape on there. And the one thing about score tape is it's not very forgiving, so you want to make sure that when you're placing this down, you are in fact covering up the cutout, like so. Okay, there you go. Okay, so that's in there nicely. Now on 2 of these sections here, these little balloons, they do have a little element that needs to be glued down, and it's these little guys here. I just went a little crazy there with the glue. So we'll simply just take that and just glue that directly to our vellum. Just give it a little hint of glue. You don't need a lot. Okay, so there is our vellum. And let's get I'm going to get the rest of the vellum on here. So this time I'm going to do glue. And pretty important to go very, very easy on the glue here. You don't need a lot. The vellum is very thin. It's thinner than paper, so it's not going to need a lot to stay in place. I'm just going to lay that down. Okay, so let's see. Well, yeah, you know, I mean, the little border around the vellum, when I use the score tape, it's a little more consistent, where you've got little dots here. You know, either way, no one's really going to see it from the inside unless they're really, really paying attention. And even if they are, so what? Not a big deal. So, you know, for the sake of the tutorial and to save time so you don't have to sit here and watch me put score tape on everything, I am just going to glue this. And if you want, you can even add a little bit of glue on the inside. Now that's another thing too that's going to take away from a more polished aesthetic. So I maybe wouldn't put any glue on the inside. It's going to attract attention to it. But you can if you want. It will certainly hold up better. Okay, you're not going to see it from this side, so it's not a big deal. And again, on this one here, we've got that one little piece there that we need to put in place. Okay. And just pop that right in there. Like that. And that just leaves one more piece of vellum. Now I've already pre-folded my piece so that I can get it ready for assembly. I used my Cricut maker, and in this case I did use solid score lines, which I want to love it, but I don't love the solid score line feature. It works, but it is not as accurate. And occasionally we see people with issues doing assemblies and things aren't fitting properly. It's because the folding on this is not as accurate as if it would be if you used the blade to do the perforated score marks. Okay, so now we're going to take these two pieces and connect them together. I'm going to just put glue on this tab here, like so. I'm going to spread that out all the way up to the edge just to make sure that it's making really good contact and looks nice and seamless. I'm going to do this on my table, just line it up nicely. I'm looking at this line here, that looks good. And just fold that tab over and press down. Okay, that looks nice. We can fold it over on top of itself, right at that seam where we just joined everything. And that looks great. Now we're going to close her up. We're going to put glue on this tab. And I'm going to spread that glue out to the very edge. And you can literally just put this down like so and bring this piece over, and it should meet up perfectly. There we go. Just press that down. Now I'm going to fold it over onto that seam and give that an extra press. So essentially, we've constructed a box, very simple. Now let's move this out of the way for a moment. We'll bring these three tabs in, and let's get our glue on these tabs. There we go. And running that down to the edges. There we go. And then we'll take this part that's already hinged, we're going to fold it over, focus on aligning this side here with this side here, opposite of the side that it's already hinged at. And make sure that's nice and centered, good contact. And then work the sides if you need to, kind of push in the walls of this surface or this surface a little bit so that everything's nice and even and lined up. Okay. Here we go. Give that a moment to set before we move on here. And just make sure everything's making good contact. Now what you can do is throw a little bit of glue around the inside perimeter, maybe just a touch in the center. And we have this piece here. This is our little liner to make this a little more structurally sound and just to clean up the inside so you don't see the tabs. Okay, so that's pretty much that. Now I notice here that I do have a little area where it's not making good contact. I always like to share this tip as often as possible. I'm going to grab a scrap piece of paper, just throw a little bit of glue on it, and I'm just going to tuck it right into the little area here that is kind of not making the best contact. Paint a little extra glue in there, and then just press and hold that in place. If that ever happens, you can always go back in and fix it. Okay. Now, technically, you could just do it like this, but it wouldn't be Dreaming Tree without the fine details. And we have a little base that we're going to construct for this thing. I've got a little area down here that is kind of peeling back, but it's my first time crafting in about 3 days, so I'm a little rusty. Okay, that looks great. All right, so now to this piece here. Well, this is how it comes out. I've already pre-folded everything at the score marks. Okay, and essentially what we're doing is we're building a kind of a sloped base for this thing. You'll notice that there are two, well, actually there's four, tiny little triangular tabs. Now I'm going back to geometry here. This is not an equilateral triangle, but go ahead and put a little bit of glue on that tiny little triangle, tuck it in, and press it up against the neighboring piece. And just make sure that you're connecting it at that angle. It's not a box, it's kind of sloped down, almost like the pitch of a roof. And just press and hold that in place until it sets. Okay, and we can move on over here to this side. Move this out of the way. You have to be kind of careful with that. Okay, so now I'm putting glue on this next little triangular tab. Less is more here. You don't want a ton. Okay, and then just bring it over and connect that right behind that little corner here on the face of this section. Press and hold that in place. Give that a second to set. Now you see how when you use less ink, or not ink, glue, it tends to dry a lot faster. Okay, so we're moving on over here to this little triangular tab now. Throw a little glue on there, kind of thin it out, and just connect it to this neighboring piece. That little tab that I just put glue on is going behind this surface. This is the face, the top. This is the side here. And just like that. It's nice and in place, and that just leaves one more little triangular tab right there. Get your glue on that. If you get too much, just kind of hit it with your finger, wipe off your finger, and connect those two sections, just like that. And we're pretty much 90% done here. All we need to do is close up the bottom and just glue the two sections together. I've got some little lime pearls that I'm going to add to the actual project. So take a look at the final photo to kind of see where else we bling this up. Okay, so finally, let's get our glue on these three tabs. I went a little heavy there, but it's okay. I'm going to spread it out anyway. Not a big deal. And work that glue out to the very edges if you want to make it nice. Okay, and just like we did with the top, I'm just going to fold this over, and you're going to focus on getting it lined up with the side opposite of the side that is already hinged or anchored. And just kind of work your fingers around the perimeter, make sure everything's making good contact. This one's a little bit different because of the angle, and I may need to go in and clean some of this up, but I'm gonna just be patient here and hold this down because I feel like sometimes I just let go way too soon, and maybe just a split second before I should let go. Had I not let go of the piece, or with the pressure that I'm applying right now, it probably would have stayed. But I just let it go too soon because I'm on camera and I'm trying to make sure you guys don't get bored while at the same time I'm trying to show you how it works. Yeah, that looks pretty good. Okay, so there's our base. And then all that's left to do is just glue this to our base. So I'm gonna get some glue here in the middle, but I'm gonna go with a nice thicker line around the perimeter, and I'm gonna spread that all the way out to the very edges. We want to make it look like it's a part of the red base. We don't want it kind of standing up, or, you know, we want it to all look seamless. Okay, so just pop it right on there, make sure it's nice and centered. Make sure it's centered, Leo. There it goes, I think. Yeah, that looks good. And just press and hold that down. If you want to put something on this, maybe just to apply a little bit of pressure so that you don't have to sit there and watch it, that could work too. But anyway, this thing's ready to go. Just pop a little electronic tea light in there. You obviously don't want to put a real candle in here. This thing will go up in flames, unless that's what you're looking for, and you want that because maybe it's a 4th of July celebration and you are trying to jazz it up a little bit, but I would not recommend it. So use those electronic tea lights. And that's it for this one, guys. So hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please take a moment and head on over to the YouTube channel, which you can see behind me is approaching the 30,000 mark. So thank you to all of you that have already subscribed. If you haven't, please do so. And while you're there, hit that little bell so that you get notifications anytime we release a new video. And if you make this or anything from our Balloon Festival SVG bundle, I would love to see it. And so would the 20,000 plus other dreamers that inspire us daily. So anyway, thank you so much for joining me, and I look forward to crafting with you again.